Okay, so what do you feel when you think about these people? Your boss, your mom, or your best friend? Those emotions exist because of this. Each time we are introduced to a new person, a file card is created in our mind. On this file card, we store all types of information. It's everything from the personal experiences that we've had with this individual to all of the things that we've heard from colleagues or friends or other people, to even the work products that we see that come from these individuals. And we add all of it to this. Now, the card is valuable because it means that we don't have to start from scratch every time we reconnect with this individual. Our behaviors and the way that we interact with these individuals are driven and informed by what we've put on these files. Now, our goal should always be to have the most accurate file possible. The hope is that with an accurate file, you'll know exactly how to act anytime you interact or engage with this individual. The file card is meant to serve you. Now, in order to ensure that the files are serving you, here are 3 questions to ask. First, what does your file say about this person? Question number 2, is this file true? And question number 3, how does your file impact your relationship with this individual? Let's start with question number 1. What does your file say about this individual? Let's go back to that first question about what do you feel when you hear these names? Your boss, your mom, your best friend. All of these emotions stem from some experiences or information or data that you've collected about that individual. So what you do is you write down the emotion, and then you just start writing down all of the experiences, everything that you've collected over the years or months or however long you've known that person. There's no right or wrong answer. Your goal is to simply build an accurate understanding of what's happened and how that's informed what you feel as you interact with this person. Don't filter anything out. You want to get as accurate a picture as possible. Now, as you look at the list of things that you've written down, here's a few additional questions you might consider. Are there any experiences that you wrote down that actually create a different or contrasting emotion from the first emotion that you said at the beginning? And second, do any of these experiences carry more weight or more influence than others? Okay, question number 2, is your file true? Now, a few things to consider here. First, you may have a huge file written on somebody because you've known them for so long. Now, you have likely changed during that period of time. Is it possible that the other person has changed too? I would hate for someone to only be using the file that they built on me in college or in high school to inform the way that they interact with me now. So much has changed during that time. You have to consider that your file might be outdated. Now, the other thing to consider is that your file may have never been true in the first place. Sometimes we take information that we hear from colleagues or friends that we've never confirmed ourselves and we add it to the file. And sometimes we just misinterpret things in the moment and we add it to our file anyway. So it's possible that you for years have been working with misinformation on your file. Now, question number 3, how does your file impact your relationship with this individual? Remember, this file is meant to serve you, to make your life easier and more effective. Look at the file that you've created and ask yourself, is this information helpful? Now, this doesn't mean that you only want positive things on your file, but it does mean that you need accurate information and that you get to decide what you will intentionally focus on when you look at that file card. With so many data points, you get to decide how much different data points are weighted and worth and where you want to focus your attention. Now, I did this exercise with my own supervisor, and I found in the beginning I was writing down words like anxious, worried, and overwhelmed. And then I moved to the next layer and I started writing down all of the experiences that I've had with my supervisor. And what I found was that a significant number of my interactions have been incredibly positive. And suddenly I was so embarrassed to see that I was saying things like overwhelmed and anxious and worried, when the reality is that so much of the information that is on my card is actually positive. What I realized is that I have this personal bias, this bias toward fixing things that are wrong and focusing on things that need to be updated or changed or fixed. So all of my attention was being drawn to mistakes and times when I had dropped the ball or that I needed to have corrective feedback. Yes, these were true events, but they represented such a small piece of the file. And yet I had given it so much attention. And so the file wasn't serving me the way that I needed it to. Those words, those feelings that I had, they didn't accurately reflect my true interaction and my true relationship with this individual. We have to be intentional about where we focus our attention in the file that we're building. Okay, just one more bonus question, because I know somebody is saying, yeah, but sometimes people just suck. And everything that's written down on my file card about this person says that they suck. And that may actually be true. There are some people who just suck. But let me give you one bonus question to consider as you think about the people who suck. What part of the story are you missing? Is it possible that there is anything outside of your file that might change the way you look at this person or interact with them? Or at the very least, might prompt you to offer a little more grace when you interact with them? The whole cliche about people fighting battles that you'll never know is a cliche because it's said so often and because it's actually true. There is a significant amount of information that you will never know. And maybe if you had just a little bit of that information, you might cut that sucky person a little more slack. All right, so that's three questions that you can use to hopefully improve your perspective on those around you and maybe see people in your life a little bit differently.